You can see now.
Yep. All right, everybody. We are here and live. Very relaxed tonight. I'm sitting back with my leg, I don't know. It's just a very relaxed, cross-legged situation we have here.
When you call my name,
we're just going to listen to the song for a while. Welcome, everybody. All right. We can hear Madonna. We don't need to hear you sing it also.
I think we do.
No, I really don't think we do. I think the people on the podcast, although they can't see you dancing. Oh my God. Oh. Well, Muggs Cahill, you just tuned in to watch Felicity in Pretty in Pink.
Hey, Muggs.
Hi, David.
Hello.
All right, everybody. So here we are, Wine Wednesday. What is the date?
It's the 17th of October. I didn't know that.
I'm just going to keep asking questions so she can stop doing what she's...
Feels like home.
Well, there we go. Felicity Redden, ladies and gentlemen. It's October 17th, 2018. We have some yummy wine from our wonderful sponsor, Steel Wines, as usual. We're going to hit that up pretty soon. We've got the candle going. I think next week, well, no, not next week, but 2 weeks from now, Halloween is going to be our next broadcast. And we're going to have to light up the fire, like usual.
Ooh, light up the fire.
It's kind of amazing that we've gone almost a full year. Well, we haven't gone a full year here in this little space. And it's getting cold again. I'm sure wherever you are outside of the LA area, it's much colder. It was, a balmy, what?
84 outside.
Was it 84 degrees?
Yeah, it's just cold inside the house.
Chilly
Not like
inside.
I've got no boobs.
But, it's come on, it's LA.
Yeah, it's weird. It's just because the house actually stays quite chilly. We do not own the rights to Madonna's Like a Prayer. I thought it was appropriate because we're doing festivals and getting yourself noticed and trying to get out there. And sometimes it feels like you need a prayer.
Yeah, and Mug says, Max, fill her glass. Well,
it's been a long day. I can tell you,
it's been a long day. That could be pouring gasoline on the fire, Mug. Anyway, welcome everyone on the podcast. Welcome everybody watching live. It's
Thanks,
almost Halloween season.
I love you too.
A black cat walking behind us, so we're feeling it. We were gonna do Monster Mash.
Do not jump up there.
Yeah, no, I don't know if she actually understands English, but
she's looking at she's thinking I can just squeeze in that tiny little edge, and she can't.
Well, what are we talking about today? We've got festivals, contests, self-promotion, which Felicity loves, and with trivia and Q&A. We've got a cattail walking.
It's going to be one of those nights, folks. I can feel it already in my waters.
Oh, God. We got to pour this wine. All right, so
we want to
before
say a big thank you to Steel Wines.
Huge thank you to Steel Wines.
Because actually they're going to give us all lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of free wine.
I don't know about lots and lots, maybe one lots.
Lots of free wine.
Plenty of free wine for our third Thursday event.
Our third Thursday event at Nickelodeon. Unfortunately, we're all completely sold out.
So we had to cap the number because it's a different location. We are not at Busby's East. Everybody watching who is in Los Angeles, we're not going to be at Busby's East. I hope people don't randomly show up thinking that they can just go to the LA Third Thursday's event. You should always be going to our events page just to find out what's going on. If you do intend to go to an event, go to the events page, just double check.
Just make sure. I think they do have tickets though for dissecting a script.
Oh, in New York, yes.
Yeah, dissecting a first draft in New York. Jess Hines is doing that, and they've got the guy that wrote The Color of Money.
No, it's Cocktail.
Oh, Cocktail. Sorry, Cocktail.
You really sold that one, though. It's Cocktail.
What was his name again? I did learn it, but for last week. And I can't remember.
I feel bad. See, we should be looking at the events page more often, too.
I know. We should have a word with ourselves.
But as our wonderful social media expert, Courtney, says, yay, Steel Wines. So thank you, Steel Wines, for providing
Drew,
wine
you're
tonight.
amazing. How is your lovely family and your daughter?
Providing it on our Third Thursday's event
we love you, Drew.
Night. So we're going to have Third Thursday's events all over the country, in multiple countries.
It's Haywood Gould.
Haywood Gould is
the writer of Cocktail, not The Color of Money. Although I don't, is that,
so
maybe next time.
He, along with Jess Hines, who runs meditativewriting.org, which you should look up, they're going to be hosting an event in New York tomorrow night. Let's pour this wine here. But before we do, I want to read something.
You can do reading.
I had to
pouring.
look up Wine Spectator. It's funny if Drew is watching, but I have never had this kind of white wine before. But you pronounce this Viognier. Viognier. Thank
I
you,
know Vionia. You should have asked me.
Cat, for standing on my leg. But
It's a 2016 Lake County Vionia.
it's interesting because it's a white wine grape. Obviously, the spiritual home, as they say, is France's northern Rhone appellation of Condrieu. But it's also grown in other parts of the world, Australia and, of course, California. But it's kind of unusual that it's a white wine grape that's regularly blended with a red wine grape. There's a tradition of blending a small amount of Viognier with Syrah, which she says, I think, adds a terrific note of apricot and spice to the red wine. So it'll be interesting to try this out. I don't drink a lot of... whoa, you poured already.
I know.
Cheers.
Cheers. I do something while you were droning on.
Thank you. Oh, Jesus. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
This is a pretty light little pour you gave me here. Cat. Okay.
It's nice and
Thank you
light.
for-
She's really into you today.
She's loving this.
Bell, what's going on?
Yeah, it's yummy.
That's delicious.
Really yummy.
I can get the apricot.
Thank you, Steel Wines. And of course, our other sponsor is Table Read My Screenplay, which we have open for submissions to the Table Read My Screenplay Park City contest. You are going where in a week?
I'm going to the Austin Film Festival.
Because?
It's their 25th anniversary and we're working with Austin Film Festival to do an event at the Driscoll Hotel.
Point being, through Table Read My
Through Table Read My
Screenplay
Screenplay.
Austin.
Yeah, we're doing the Table Read My Screenplay Austin.
Yeah.
And we're going to go and do the Table Read event. And actually, I've spent the day talking to actors. So I actually, normally when I come on Wine Wednesday, I haven't spoken to anyone all day. Today, all I've done is speak to Bella. Stop it.
She loves pointing that butthole in my face. I guess it shows trust. All right, you can...
You can stop now.
Oh, Lord.
So anyway, I've been speaking to actors all day and they're fun. Hi, Elizabeth. Hello, Flavio.
Elizabeth, Flavio, welcome everybody. There you go. You can look at tablereadmyscreenplay.com if you want to submit to Table Read My Screenplay Park City. That is open.
That is open, and you'll be going to the Sundance Film Festival
Sundance Film
with
Festival.
me.
But
That could be a good or a bad thing, depending on whether you think I'm a pain in the butt cheeks.
we are giving away some... this cat is going to probably crash something off of our coffee table if you
Yes.
hear a crash in the background. But we are giving away some things tonight. What are we doing?
I put that in.
What you can do... Let me. You're usually the one doing this.
I know. Well, we're giving away some Table Read Park City entries.
Table Read Park City entries. What we're going to do, though, is that we're going to do that through trivia. So we are going to be asking some trivia. So if you guys want to stick around to the end, we'll go maybe 40 minutes, talking about contests and film festivals and everything. And then we'll do some trivia, and we're going to give away some entries to Table Read My Screenplay Park City.
Park City, and I think there's also a way you can get, if you register for ISA Connect yearly, you can get a free entry to Table Read or Get It Made or Shoot Your Sizzle simply by registering for ISA Connect. However, they must start on the contest page, enter a contest, and then add ISA Connect, registering for the ISA Connect yearly on the entry form at the bottom.
So in other words, this is how it works. If you are going to submit to a contest, you have to go to that contest to submit and purchase it as if you're purchasing it. But then, as if you're adding to the shopping cart, so to speak, you add ISA Connect if you pay for the whole annual, I think it's $100 for the whole year. You're technically paying for that and getting your entry for free. It's a $50 value. So there you go.
If you want to do that.
And
If you were thinking, I'd like to be a Connect member because I want to be able to post my scripts online, I want to be able to post my log lines, I want to be able to post a poster, I want to be able to put a pitch, a video pitch up.
If you want to submit to writing gigs, which we just had someone
A success
with
story.
a success story.
Came through.
So this person applied to a writing gig. The producer
said yes.
took the script, and they just finished shooting it, and it will be released in 6 months.
6 months, yeah. He's very, very happy. He said dreams do come true, which is kind of amazing.
There are opportunities out there, everybody. You just got to look for them. So the writing gigs is one way. ISA Connect is another way. Contests and festivals.
And the thing is, you just put your log line up. You don't actually put up your full script. If someone likes the look of your log line, they then have to request it. And I have to say that we had a very big producer ask for 5 people off our development slate, asked for log lines, their most recent work. So I've been in touch with them. We've just sent it across. So
a producer with a very large film fund.
Very large.
And
they want to do good work. They want to do work that actually makes a social impact. So if you have your social impact movie, now is your time to become a Connect member. start getting noticed, which is why we're talking about this today, isn't it? That's why we're getting noticed.
It's pretty much the reason we have film festivals and screenplay contests. We as in the whole industry, is for self-promotion. And it's why I added self-promotion in there. In our back and forth internally, we didn't necessarily mention self-promotion, but it's pretty much the whole purpose of submitting to a film festival or a screenplay contest.
Yes.
You're laughing at EJ's comment,
I know, buttocks.
So, technically speaking...
Yeah, it'd be bum, actually.
The bum.
Get your bum out the way,
EJ is referencing how I said the cat is sticking its butthole in my face.
Oh, butthole.
EJ say, wouldn't it be buttocks as a Briton? Britain.
It would be bum.
It's bum. I don't know. I'm not
buttocks is very formal, but maybe because we're being proper, we would say buttocks.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, thank you to Stable Read My Screenplay. Thank you to Steel Wines. Thank you to everybody watching. If you're drinking something, feel free to raise a glass.
And then down in one, everyone. Down in one.
So
not really, although I feel like it.
Table Read My Screenplay, Shoot Your Sizzle, Get It Made, Emerging Screenwriters, Screencraft, Nickel, Page, Austin, Blue Cat. I mean, all these are just...
Final Draft, big break.
Final Draft, that's a huge one.
Scriptapalooza.
What else is there? I'm just going to start rattling off. LA Film Awards, most film festivals.
Austin Film Festival.
Most film festivals have a screenplay writing contest.
Sundance Lab.
I have a feeling I'm forgetting one of ours.
Nickelodeon.
Oh, a Fast Track Fellowship.
Nickelodeon.
Just about every studio has a fellowship.
Fellowships.
What you should be doing is going to, and actually it'd be a good time for Courtney to share the link, but you should go to our contest page, and it isn't just our ISA sponsored contests, but it's ISA approved contests. So all the contests that we have heard about, we know are vetted. They're worthwhile. There are a lot of mid-level contests or lower-level contests that have fewer entries or don't have as huge of an impact, like some of the horror or genre-related contests, Screencraft, We Screenplay. They're all extremely worthwhile. So why should someone be submitting to a screenplay contest?
To win.
Thanks, everybody. That's all we got tonight. So let's go to trivia. Yeah, she complains like, you're the one always talking. I'm trying to pass the buck.
I know
over
you're
you.
trying to pass the buck, and I'm just being silly with you. Because it's really good fun to win. 2, because you'll find out how you're doing. You'll see where your script is in its draft state. You'll see if anyone else is getting the message the same way you are. If you can get some cheap notes, it's sometimes a good way to get cheap notes rather than having to go and get
inexpensive. I think is probably the better way to say.
Cheaper, inexpensive.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike. Hi, Mike Rogers. Y'all. And it's a way to kind of dip your toe in the water. I mean, sometimes I think you are in love with your screenplay or not in love with your screenplay, and it'd be nice to know what someone else thinks too. It might be better than you think. So
I look at it, especially for the writers who have been doing this for a long time. Let's say you've been writing and you have for 10 years or more, you have 20 screenplays under your belt. It's a way for someone else to say yes first. So it's a huge resume builder. A lot of our writers on our slate, a lot of our writers that I'm personally developing on a weekly basis, they have all received these accolades and used those accolades as a way to get managers. Chelsea Watkins, Valerie Grant.
But don't you think even when you were looking at your writers to work with, if they come with awards attached to their scripts, you're like, okay,
Sure.
This is someone I'd like to work with.
It's not only like to work with, but it's also just I know that they're either brilliant because they wrote one script and one nickel or something, or they've been doing this for a long time and they're not completely brand new. So it's not that I don't want to work with brand new writers. It's just I have an understanding of who I'm going to be working with. I love working with brand new writers and people that have never written anything before. I have at least 3 writers who are just starting out. But for the industry and for industry professionals like producers and managers and agents, they don't want to necessarily be the first one to say yes.
They always want to feel like they've found you, but only after everyone else has found you.
Yeah. So it's kind of that idea of what have you done lately, and a lot of times if you had a contest win in 2011, that actually can hurt you if you won a contest and the script went all over town and you're still using that on your resume. That isn't self-promotion. That's actually kind of deprecation because the producer's like, well, then what happened with it? Why didn't anybody make it? I don't want to say yes to it.
It's interesting because I actually there is a script in particular that I know has been doing the rounds for a bit, and it has just got someone a little bit further down. But I don't know whether they've been working on it a lot in between as well. So maybe it is now much more refined.
Maybe don't take that in such a general sense, but at the same time, it can hurt you. You have to be careful. Yeah,
I think I hope anyway you want to be moving forward. I think you need to be not putting all your eggs in one basket, and I hope you're allowing ideas to flow freely through you.
I think Mary has a really good point that she's making in the comments here. It says submit to a contest because it gives you the opportunity to develop and complete a script and get it read. And I've been writing and working with writers and working in the screenwriting industry for almost 20 years, and I have been primarily working on books and novels over the past year and a half or 2 years, maybe even more. And because I wanted to try to get back into the screenwriting process, there's this really fun contest called New York City Midnight Madness, and you get 48 hours to write a 5-page short script. And I thought, you know what, I don't even care if I place. It'll be fun because what they do is they give you 3 categories, a specific genre, a location, and an item.
Yeah.
Or some form of I guess you could say item. Mine was spy for genre, and then conference center for location, and then a lobster for the so-called item. So I had to write a script with those 3 featured, obvious genre, location, etc. And I think I wrote a fun little 5-page script. I don't really care if I win or not. But
it definitely gave you something to do on a Saturday afternoon that could make your brain a bit more zingy and kind of pick you up a bit.
It's fun. If you need to fall in love with the process, because it's so easy for writers to see the end result. Can I win a contest? Can I get a script sold? Can I get something optioned? Can I get a movie made? Or can I get staffed? What about just the fun of writing the thing?
Well, I think I told you I have a little collective. I have a little kind of friend collective, and we've written little moments, little slices of life. And we all took turns in doing it, and then we're going to film them. And that's the same thing. It's just and as soon as I started thinking about an idea and what I might want to put together, a load of other ideas came in. Mm-hmm. And the thing, because they're only short as well, it's not a big feature, it's just a little short, it's just a tiny idea. If you're thinking that I'm working on a big screenplay so I don't have room for another one, then write a tiny little short somewhere. There are loads of short contests now, and they're really inexpensive to enter.
There's so many contests.
And I think for a short one especially, or a web series, they're really looking for that I don't know, those ideas, that content.
Yeah.
For YouTube and a lot of the kind of the short form.
Right. You can even
material.
Google short form contests or something. Jordan is asking, what exactly are fellowships? What sort of material is normally required to successfully be a part of one? So I think this is kind of speaking to a little, and I don't mean to pick on you, Jordan. I wouldn't worry about the material. So don't worry so much about genre. Nickel and the Academy, you could argue, is a fellowship because of the end result for the winners, meaning they have a year that they're paid a certain salary, and Academy members.
And they become a fine fellow.
Yeah, and they're developing material over a certain amount of time, and that's what they're doing. But they do. They are considered fine fellows.
They get a waistcoat at the end.
But so I wouldn't worry so much about the kind of material. The reason I say Nickel's a little different is because it is a little more Academy oriented. They like the dramas, they like meaning, they like heavy theme. But then again, I've seen in some past winners where there have just been outright ridiculous comedies in the top 5 or 6. So again, I wouldn't worry so much about the material, at least where genre or type is concerned. But the overlying answer to that is that they're looking for amazing material. It has to be developed, vetted. They're looking for pros.
I know for Fast Track, we look for people that have more than one script and that have been working in the industry for a while.
Yeah.
So, because we want them to be able to go into the room, and then if they don't like that project, them have another 5 behind them.
The idea of a fellowship means there's a long-term process after the win of the contest. We try not to call our Fast Track Fellowship a contest. Technically speaking, when you boil it down, you are competing against other people. It's a contest. But it's a fellowship because of the long-term support that you are given after the win. And you can say that about every fellowship. Every studio just about has a fellowship that you are awarded a certain amount of time, a salary, so to speak. Fast Track doesn't offer a salary. There is, I think is there a financial...
There is a financial compensation.
There's a compensation in terms of travel. You get to stay in LA for 5 days, but then and you take a whole bunch of meetings, but then after that you're a part of the development slate and we're still pushing your material out there.
But I think the more that what happens with the Fast Track Fellowship is that those personal connections that you get from those meetings, those 8 or 9 meetings around town, continue. They definitely did for our last few fellows anyway. That's really happened.
One of our fellows, David Kushner, email me saying, hey, one of these previous Fast Track fellows wants to read a script of mine, and it was one of these people that he met during the meetings. And so they're still in touch. It's about creating those relationships. Suzanne, after watching your Shoot Your Sizzle trailer for Jodi Levitan's Finding Distance, I'm going to enter Shoot Your Sizzle again. There you go. I took 3rd place in the last one. Congratulations, Suzanne. The production quality was terrific in the shorts, and the story was so lovely, made me want to watch it. Great job, guys. Yeah, that's primarily Felicity Craig and the team over there. I had almost literally nothing to do with it, but they really did a great job.
Yeah, well, we're very proud of the story. It's a great story. Jo wrote a brilliant story to begin with. Then she found an excellent producer to work with, and then a director. And then we were able to recommend a DP and an editor. And Scott Marcus, our business manager, went and was first AD on the shoot, got some background material, and then also was very helpful actually there and on the ground. Mm-hmm. And I think during the whole process, it took us a year to make it because it does take time, but I worked extensively with Jodi on the short script itself. We really worked at the essence of the story to be told and how we could tell it in the best way to make someone think, oh my goodness, I really want to see this movie. Thank you, Suzanne, for saying that. Yeah. And using it as a sales tool to leap ahead, because I think we've said this before, it's just that no one wants to read a script anymore in this very quick-faced... Quick-faced,
it's a lot easier for a producer or manager to click play and watch something for 4 minutes, even 15 minutes. Elizabeth Mai. So Elizabeth's one of my new Story Farm writers. Hi, Elizabeth. Are TV pilots getting picked up faster than features?
Yes.
I think it's hard to say. It really is difficult to say. I would say, generally speaking, sure. Because there are more outlets now for the TV space. But there's a resurgence in the feature world with the very low budget, $500,000 movies.
I think that's it. What's happening is that they're looking for TV writers, especially women. So if you're a female writer, get to it. Or diverse or disability. So these are the genres they're really looking for now. They're the people they're really looking for now to tell stories, your stories. Then, because they know it takes so long to develop a TV pilot idea, if you have a feature instead that they can use as a writing sample, they're willing to look at it as a way to check out your potential.
Ability, how to tell a story.
So it's a mix of the two, Elizabeth, I'd say. So be thinking about your TV idea of a story that's original and very female-centric. And then if you have an idea for a feature, write it alongside it, and you can always submit them together.
The difficulty in the TV world has kind of remained the same, even though there are a lot more opportunities. Now we have, because there's so many more opportunities and there's so much money being spent on it, now the level of demand is higher, but that demand now is demanding higher quality stuff too. But it also means the same thing that has always been apparent in the TV world is that you need an experienced showrunner behind your show.
Yes.
So that the studio, whoever the studio is, can trust that this show is actually going to produce, in terms of ratings.
But it's also to hold your hand initially.
Yeah, because they're not going to put a first-time
money.
writer in charge of an entire writer's room. That's the hard part, is that it's kind of like having a great feature, trying to find a director to attach to it, and then having that director be someone that can draw cast and more money and all distribution and all this stuff. So there's a game to play.
However, I have heard from someone a friend of mine that works at a very big company, and they told me that there are about 3 or 4 great female showrunners at the moment who have a proven track record, and everyone wants them because they're looking for them right now. So if you have a script and you think you can be a showrunner in the future, begin. This is your time.
Yeah, you just got to get the experience in. Just looking at the comments, I just want to make sure we're not missing too many questions here. Do fellowships via studios open up to writers from countries outside of the USA? Absolutely. They love not only diverse writers, but international writers. So yeah, Lindsay, definitely.
And Australia's good because it'd still be English. So,
That's true. It isn't the language barrier. Love the dedication of the project. It really showed Felicity. I had tears. There you go.
Oh, good.
Writer Girl, Karma is saying a career in writing is not for the faint of heart. It doesn't happen overnight. You need to be resilient, have perseverance, believe in yourself. You also need to continue honing your script, passion for the process, lots of patience. Bam, bam, bam. Karma has been doing this before for a while. Let's see. So
and also celebrate the small victories. I guess that's another way of being part of the contest.
That brings us back to the contests and the festivals. Yeah.
You know, in celebrating the small victories of getting through submitting a script and then getting through to the semi-finals, and each time improving, getting better notes back, feeling like there's a momentum. I think that's inspiring and it'll keep you going.
There's so many levels to the whole creative process. Having to stay inspired, stay in a good mood, set aside the time so that you have it. Otherwise that time will get filled with something else. And then when you do
That's for
something,
podcast viewers.
when you do, that's all right. When you do achieve something, share your success story on the ISA site.
Oh yes, do that because I read all those.
Go to festivals even if you didn't place in the festival. Support other filmmakers.
Yeah, come to the Austin Film Festival. I'll be there, and if you come, then if you email me, I might be able to get you a ticket for our little special event.
Oh boy. So anyway, there are many reasons to be applying to contests and festivals, and it's all coming back to self-promotion. The issue with self-promotion is that you can't be obvious with it. That's the irony. There has to be a subtlety to your self-promotion. When you're meeting people, you should be there just to literally meet people and make friends. And who are you? Tell me about what you do. And then you're going to do the same thing for them. So the self-promotion comes just by you being you. And if you do start winning some contests or placing in those contests, then that becomes a part of your resume that you can then share. I think Lee Jessup talks a lot about your story and really honing what your story is so that it's not a pitch for your project. Most of the time you're going to be hired because people like you and they want to work with you. If you can prove that you're a good writer, that's a bonus to them, obviously. But instead of going to film festivals or special events or whatever, expecting or intending to pitch a project of yours, just be there and pitch yourself. Be you and have fun.
Be nice. I think that's the main thing, is just be nice and have fun, and don't be the person that's always looking behind. That person you're talking to them and they're always looking behind you, behind your eye. There was a question there about the ISA. Did you see it? So you always feel like there's someone behind you that's more important than you when you're speaking to someone, because that is the worst thing you can do. And you don't know who you're speaking to. They might not be boasting about who they are and what they do. But
what happened when we were just out, and we have three questions. Oh, we missed one of the pinned comments there, but it was about the difference between, the ISA have coverage service for both features and shorts. So Tommy, really quick, we don't do coverage services. We do have evaluation services, which are much different. Coverage is just basically studio coverage. Here's a summary, and then like a box of check marks saying recommend or consider or whatever. That doesn't help you on a developmental level. It does at least help as far as where am I in my process. You're better off trying to make contacts with people in low levels at studios and say, hey, I'll give you $100 to cover my script, and then you can see what the studio coverage looks like. We do offer development evaluations.
5 pages of notes.
5 pages of really great notes.
That will go into much more detail than coverage.
A lot more, and it'll be helpful. It'll be supportive in terms of here's why we think this is not correct, or why you could do this better and how. Really quick to answer Mug's question, what day of the festival is the ISA event?
It's on Saturday the 27th.
There you go, Saturday 27th.
And we've got 2 things. We're doing the actual showcase event at the Driscoll in the Citadel room, where we're doing 2 excerpts from the Table Read My Screenplay winners. And then we'll also have the ISA Heart of the Conference sponsored party at the Austin Film Festival, and that's from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. So for night owls out there, free wine and drink.
There you go.
Woohoo! And I'll be there dancing because I'll have done all my work, so I'll be there.
All right, so let's keep Mickey's comment pinned there. I just kind of want to go back to this idea of being at an event, self-promotion, etc. You don't necessarily know who you're talking to. Felicity and I were out at our favorite restaurant having dinner, and we were just sitting there. And she talks. There could be a parrot sitting she'll talk to the parrot. She'll talk to everybody. And so there was someone to her left, and I'm just used to this at this point, and
he likes to look at his phone. He checks his sports results and everything.
Well,
if you thought we were dating, if we were going out, you'd say that woman's having a terrible evening with that man.
We don't treat each other like But so, and that's not all completely true. It's hard for me to hear in busy, loud bars. So sometimes I'm just like, whatever.
His poor old ears. Max
is hard for me to hear things. What do you want me to say? Nonetheless, they got to chatting. Middle-aged guy, he seemed really nice, and they were having a relatively animated conversation, so I'm leaning in, and it comes out that we were talking about sound in film.
Yeah, just sound in film generally, and he said that he works in San Francisco quite a lot.
Okay, yeah, but it came out that he asked a question, something like, what's memorable, or something about...
Yeah, we were just talking about sound. I mean, he was saying that he lives in San Francisco, but every now and again he'll come down and he works in a tiny studio and does sound for movies. And I was like, oh, that's amazing.
And I mentioned Dunkirk.
And we were like, and I can't even remember how that came up, but it's just something like, we were just, actually it was around the time of the Oscars, so it was a while ago now, how the time has sped.
It was a little bit after the Oscars.
A little after. But we were just saying how there are different categories in the Oscars and how you choose and what makes something stand out. And he was talking about Foley in the room and out the room and how, to really... And then Max went, the only movie I can think that has made any impact on me recently for sound quality was Dunkirk.
Yeah, I brought it up as an example...
Of something doing it well.
Yeah, like I do remember this. I don't know if I said it outright, but I said something along the lines of, I didn't love the movie Dunkirk. It was visually amazing, but the sound was incredible. That was one thing I remember.
Bullets whizzing past your ears.
Yeah, and then he goes...
He went,
oh, I
did that.
I did that. And then he pulls out his phone, and it's a picture of him holding up the Academy Award
on the stage.
For winning, literally on the stage.
An Oscar.
And I'm like, oh, so you won an Academy Award. And it comes out that he does all the sound for all of Christopher Nolan's movies.
I have his number.
Yeah, and he was a really great guy, Not that we have an immediate need for a sound guy, but it's still like, you have no idea who you're talking to.
And it was basically, he was there by himself, and I just didn't want him to be lonely by himself. So I just had a little chat to him. No one wants to be lonely.
It's just, about being yourself. Don't have an agenda.
Honestly, we're all connected anyway. This whole idea that you're hiding something. I know a few people that kind of behave in such a way they think they're being really sneaky by, like, I don't know, doing something a little bit underhand, liking your Facebook post. You won't realise that later I'll ask you a favour. And they're like, we all get it. I can so see what you're doing, jerk off.
Mickey is asking a really interesting question. If the TV and film world is particularly seeking women and diverse people at this time, does that basically mean that being white and male is a bad thing? Will it count against you? The real quick, simple answer to that, Mickey, is yes. For a time. It isn't like... It's not going to count against you. It's not like, the 50s and, McCarthyism. The McCarthyism. It's not... That, it's just... We're not looked at as often now as we used to be, which is a good thing. It doesn't matter. If you've already established, then you're fine. Sure, yeah. However, if you're coming up, then I think it just means you're going to have to work as hard as women and people of diversity have had to work in the past. So you're going to have to prove, the same way that women have to prove, this is a massive generalization, but they normally say women, to get to the places they get to, normally have to work twice as hard as a guy to do it. It's going to just you're going to have a taste of that for a minute. But even then it'll even out. It always evens out. It's just, at the moment, it's about evening the playing field. And I honestly, it may not even be evened out. I think there is still probably some preference. Well, there's so many stories to But there are also probably so many more white males in the industry just because of, the past. We do the same as the politics in the government, Right. Yeah. There's a little bit of time to go till we the Mitch McConnells of the world will not always be with us. Thank God. Thank God. Hello from Tasmania. Are you a devil? Welcome. See what I did there. So would you advise a writer to receive coverage on their screenplay before sending it to the development slate? I don't know if you need coverage necessarily, Tommy. I think it would be wise to get somebody else's opinion. somebody else's just free comments or thoughts or whatever. If you try not to pay for it if you don't have to. But at the same time, the development evaluation is $199. Like this, it's really considering and comparing to other note services, 5 pages of really thorough development notes. That's like it's nothing, really.
And I was going to say there are also some fellowships that they do blind reading, so no gender, no.
Oh yeah.
So.
New York City Midnight Madness said only put your title on the script. We don't want to know. I think your cat is cold because it's leaning against my laptop.
I know. She's probably going to make that fan come on because she's warming it up. Yeah, so I think that's the other thing is that there are still contests that are trying to skew away from being because it used to be the unconscious male bias, and so by just even having the title only. So I think mainly just keep writing the story that fascinates you. I mean, that's all you can do. That's going to be the thing that is passionate and that you care about. That is the thing that's going to really float your boat and the story that you'll tell the best.
Yeah. And I apologize for going to my phone here, but I forgot to look up trivia questions. I know.
Oh, I can look them up.
Why? Okay.
Well, just because I've got the big screen and you can talk for a bit. I wish we could show Bella, actually. That would be fun.
Too late.
Oh, she's
You got a lazy fat cat yawning over the laptop to my right, which you cannot see. Everybody sees this nice little backdrop with our terrible reflection of the TV in the window. What you don't see is the complete and utter mess in front of us than outside of camera. But, it's movie magic, man. Let's see. Tommy says, absolutely agree. I have been getting notes and I think it's ready for the next step. Then go for it, Tommy. You have nothing to lose because with the $199, you're still getting those 5 pages of notes. What happens is if the reader loves it and really enjoys the script, then they send that script to me and Felicity. We consider it to see if it's something that we want to put in our development slate and then try to help you get that script out around town. We don't represent you. We're not legally tied to it. We're not going to be further developing the script with you, but we are going to at least keep that log line and that project on the list of projects that we'd like to try to push out and try to, get it more noticed, basically.
Yeah, and we have been getting more people submitting writing gigs, so that actually if you're a Connect member, you can send your scripts off to them more easily, and I think that's been the case, is that more people are searching for scripts on the site. So
yeah, and Greg brings up a good point. He might be rubbing us a little bit, but he was a finalist at Austin and still did not get into the development program. And it's a good point to make because we can't accept everyone because it's just Felicity and I. James McCarthy is coming on to help us with the outreach, thank God, because we need that help. But it's also a matter of who are we in touch with? Who do we know? Who can we reach out to that we feel will like this project? So it's, we're a support service. We're not necessarily a producing service. We're not going to get out there and actively produce or help your movie get made necessarily in like a hands-on way. We're going to try to pass the buck on as much as we can. So, it's tricky. There's only so many writers that we can take on the slate. But
and it's also we don't want to take the your project on the slate if we can't put it anywhere, if we don't have anywhere for it to live.
Right.
Because actually I'd rather you, because there's something about feeling, that's why even with an agent or a manager, you have to understand that you still have to do your work too. My friend's a photographer's agent, and he always says, I only take a percentage of your wage, and that's how much work I should be doing for your career. The rest of the percentage, 85%, should be you trying to work on your career.
Yeah, right.
And I think that's kind of true.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So you just need to be thinking, how can I improve and get more work and make more connections? And how can I have fun doing it? So going to a film festival is a great way,
going to social events,
doing short film contests,
making a short film. Nowadays you can do it for literally nothing. If you have any amount of photography ability, you can use an iPhone. I heard that there was a movie that some directors shot a proof of concept. They did the entire film. They shot the entire thing on their iPhone just to show what they can do in terms of the story. They helped add, some basic effects because they had some editing equipment and stuff. But it's legitimately possible to shoot something on an iPhone. If you can put a little bit of money, buy a $1,000 camera, suddenly you can make an entire movie for $1,000. So there are ways to get yourself out there. There is a question here. Anik, apologize if I'm saying your name wrong, but she's saying if someone you met networking asks for a writing sample, how many pages should you send, which part of the script, or should you send the entire script? So it's really relative. Cat just freaked me out. It's very relative to the person. If they literally asked you, send me a writing sample, then that means send the script, the whole thing. But, and this cat's tail is whacking the microphone, so I apologize everybody if you can hear her tail. But I would send them first and foremost a nicely developed log line that's clear and concise. You have the story and whatever the recurring situation is of that story in the log line, with the character, flaw, all that stuff. Plus, like a 3-paragraph synopsis. Let them read and get a sense of what this is, meaning story, concept, genre, your writing ability, just basically. They'll probably then read 10 to 15 pages. If they love it, they'll keep reading. But you just send the whole thing. That I think is probably the easiest answer. Like Mary is saying, send them what they ask for. If it really is very relative, but if someone asked for a writing sample, I would just send the script, but preface it with logline synopsis. Are there particular types? We're going right into Q&A. So if anybody has questions specifically about contests and film festivals, feel free to throw them out. We got maybe another 5 minutes or so until we get into trivia, which I'm assuming you're finding.
I am, yeah.
Are there particular types of projects you are currently looking for? So, Robin, not really. It's just really unique stories, layered and fully developed characters within a situation that is really entertaining, whatever that is. And by entertaining, I don't mean it has to have levels of comedy or even horror or genre specific, but something that's really interesting. Like even a movie like Sophie's Choice, just the basic idea of a mother needing to make a decision about which daughter to get rid of. That's a unique situation. It's horrible and gut-wrenching, but something that we haven't really seen before, mainly because that's what the industry wants. They want something that is powerful in terms of a level of entertainment, as generic as that note is. But for TV, something that is recurring, that we could see this has a type of situation that can be repeated over and over again and still be entertaining. For a feature, genre doesn't matter. Just be really fucking good. I apologize for the language. Let's see what else we have here. Let's see. The award-winning feature film Tangerine was shot entirely on an iPhone. I mean, in order to shoot a movie on an iPhone, you have to know what you're doing. So don't just think, I'm going to turn my iPhone on and I'm going to film somebody. There has to be good lighting. There has to be great framing. You still have to understand how to direct a movie and work with actors, but you can learn that.
It's like the Super 8 movies. Have you ever seen those Super 8 kind of
like the 8
festivals? 8mm, yeah. Where you can't edit it. You have to shoot it in sequence, and you have to kind of really know what you're doing. And a friend of mine did this thing where he blocked off half the film on one side, and then he turned it round and then did the other half, and he filmed a woman on one side and a man on the other. How he did it on a Super 8 camera, I have no idea. But he won, of course, the Super 8.
There's a question specifically for you from Mark Grizar, who you know, right? Do you know Mark?
I do know Mark, yeah.
It says, hey Felicity, does it make sense to reverse engineer scripts that do well in contests as a novel? Is it easier to get novels read?
I don't know if it's easier to get a novel read. However, I think like the same way that you had written your screenplay and then you could turn it into a novel for your fairies.
Yeah,
the Wishkeeper.
Little
fairy. I think the thing is, Mark, especially for you, I know you're writing...
Permission granted, Helene, by the way. Permission for me to pour another glass of wine.
You are... I know that you're an excellent and very accomplished technical writer, so you know about following story beats. So I would say it gives you a plan And so if you have more to say in the story that you're telling, then you already have the basis of your novel.
So let me say this, Mark, and not that I don't want to take up too much time talking about this, but I was very intimidated by writing a novel. I wrote a really expensive fantasy script, for lack of a better description. And I gave it to 4 people who were in the industry who I knew wouldn't bullshit me, and they said it needs source material, and it's skewing too young. So the skewing too young part, fine, I can worry about that in the story sense and character sense. In terms of needing source material, they said you need to write the novel, basically. It needs to have an audience before this thing's ever going to get made. Otherwise, no one's going to dump $150, $200 million into this movie. So because I was intimidated, I'm like, how do I start? My first draft of the book was a literal copy and paste from Final Draft into Word without any formatting. And suddenly I was like, I have like 60 pages of the book. And so I looked at it from that level, just in a different bird's eye view sense of, okay, if I expand my action lines into just more description and, maybe change some things story-wise, I didn't add any characters or anything. And so I just then split up the scenes and formed them into chapters. And then I had maybe another 20 pages. I had 80 pages or something. It still wasn't a novel yet, but I started to see how I can then formulate these stories. And then I saw where holes in the story could be filled with different devices here and there. And then, 3 or 4 drafts later, I had a novel that I was really proud of. And I really enjoyed the process because I was just writing out the story I had already done so much work on.
I think that's it. It's in your head, isn't it? And if you have more in your head and more to say, and also as a white male, Mark, this might be a moment to write a novel.
Yeah, and we have 22 new comments. So there are a lot of questions, everybody, so I apologize. Maybe, I don't know, we might only have a time to do a couple little trivia questions, but Anne Marie is asking, what about going to AFM? I have a comedy script. I think you should definitely go to AFM, man, just for the experience. I wouldn't expect anybody to go, great, I'll buy your script. It just doesn't really happen.
But you know what? You'll be in the buzz of it. You know what it will feel like.
That, and you're going to meet people. You never know. I wouldn't bring the script with you or whatever, but if you meet someone who you're chatting with and it comes up that this person is looking for a comedy and it just so happens it's something like yours, you could be like, oh, I had that.
Well, I think if you don't go, you won't put yourself in the picture.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with going.
Go.
What festivals have you made submissions to and what was it like? And if not too personal, a few words about the cost of submissions from your point of view. Cost of submission is cost of submission. It's you're not. I wouldn't submit to anything that's over $80. Otherwise, you're just going to be throwing money away. I think a lot of the comments, if people see Wesley's comment there, just comment what
they're
festivals and contests have you. Yeah.
I mean, I think the other thing is that do your research. Festivals definitely and have a style. Sundance definitely has a style it's looking for. I would say if it's a festival where they have certain criteria that they're looking for, so a diverse voices or a horror theme or whatever you're looking for, make sure that you actually fit the genre. So that it does actually fit the bill, that your script is like other winners.
Yeah, right.
And then if it's not like that, have a look at other contests. That the wonderful thing is that the internet is available and at your fingers, so you can look this stuff up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think ask other people, talk to other writers, join forums, see if someone else has had success. And go with your gut and have an amount of money that you're willing to spend as an investment on yourself.
Because $500 or $600 can go quick, if you're applying to 7 or 8 different 10, 9,
But think, do you want the prize? If it's $10,000 as the prize, do you care about that? Would you rather have a fellowship where you have the exposure to networking, or would you rather win a contest where you can get a short made of your work, or would you rather?
I think what is really important to state about contests is that if you have any doubt in the script, don't submit it. Unless you're just kind of playing the field or it's a low-level, mid-level contest.
And it's $35 to enter something.
It's relatively inexpensive. You know that they don't have the notoriety of a Page or an Austin or a Nickel or Blue Cat or something. Then you might be able to place, you might be able to feel it out. How's my script doing? If you have a first or second draft of a script, there's just absolutely no reason to be submitting that to Nickel or Page or any of these big Fast Track. There's no reason, because it's just not going to place, and it may end up disappointing you, and it could turn you off. And just save your money. To further develop that thing, you're better off dropping $500 or $600 or more, or on a low monthly rate, hiring a consultant and working with this person to get more and multiple scripts developed over a period of time, and get yourself ready to submit those contests. Because $50 is $50. Why blow it? Just playing the lottery. Mike is saying, is there a way to receive individual feedback on a screenplay through the ISA, which is less expensive than the development slate? I'd love to get feedback from the two of you. So sadly, Mike, there is not a less expensive way to do it. There just isn't, because $199 is already extremely inexpensive.
Yeah. I was going to say, even like most contest entries, if you think about the costs to set up, and actually, if it's a decent one, the money they have to pay to get the readers to actually go through, judge the infrastructure, it's not that expensive. I know it feels like it, but actually it's not that expensive for the process it has to go through to be judged.
So I feel bad we're like racking up even more contests or comments, but let's try to get through as many of these as possible. And
it's all right, we have some
okay.
But
So
also, you can also get your free entry if you join for Connect. And then what was that other way you could do if you could?
Sign up for, and Courtney, if you can share this, but sign up for the Emerging Screenwriters
email
list, and they're giving away free entries to
Shoot Your Sizzle, Get It Made, and Table Read Park City.
Yeah.
So do that as a free entry, and maybe you can do, if you're worried about it, maybe you can do that as a free one, and just see how you like it.
Yeah. Tony is saying, is it a good idea to submit to multiple festivals, or wait for feedback from one, make suggested edits before submitting to another? I would do like maybe I would do maybe 2 or 3 at a time or something, because notes are very subjective. You don't you don't really know what mood the reader was in. I think it's best to get notes from 2 or 3 people, probably 3, to then weigh those notes against each other.
Exactly. If they keep saying the same thing, they've got a point.
Yeah. Okay, Mickey's saying, while this is subjective opinion, it seems that most TV shows and films that come out are not particularly great in terms of story or concept. It makes me wonder how these are ever seeing the light of day. I'm sure I'm not alone in thinking this, so I'm wondering at the end of the day, should we all be trying to write something for the lowest common denominator, for lack of a better term? No. I think that's the easy. I think what you should be writing, Mickey, is something that you love, something that you're really inspired by.
And I think that's something that Jess kind of goes into in dissecting from first.
Oh, Jess Hines, yeah.
To dissecting from picture to first. Oh God, what's it called again? God, see, I'll have some wine now. Dissecting from first draft. Anyway, the thing about it is
first to final draft.
First to final draft is that often the script that you wrote that got you in the door, that said they bought from you, has had 50 million executives justifying their keep. Play with it in the meantime.
And the likelihood of the executives seeing something similar is extremely high. If you're trying to write to a trend or write to an level of expectation of what you think audiences want or whatever, just write something that you're extremely.
It's for you. The writing is for you.
I was an early 30s white male, straight, who wrote a fantasy novel about a 16-year-old 5-inch tall fairy.
I rib him about it a lot.
I didn't care if people were going to go, why did you write that book? Or why do you think people are going to like this? And I've had a tiny sliver of the population enjoy the book. I don't care.
I know, but the thing is, there are certain ones that have been very moving to you.
I've had at least 5 or 6 young people say that the book changed their life and that they were extremely affected by it and that they thoroughly enjoyed it. And I'm like, that's it. I don't care. If I make money off this thing, fine. You got to write something that you really enjoy and feel inspired.
I understand why you can look at something and think, how do they get on the TV and I'm not there? And the answer is because it was promised a long time ago, or they know someone, or there's a bit of nepotism, or executives have got in the way of the good script. There's 100 different reasons why, or they ran out of money. But you can't worry about that. you can't judge yourself against them. There's no point in comparing your work to anyone else's. You just say, okay, how can I write the best script?
It's so easy for us to sit back and watch a show and go, this is stupid. I could write that. Or exactly.
I could get over that pole vault at 9 meters.
But until you've really done it, you're like, hold on. Like I was watching the baseball playoffs last night, and one of the Dodgers made this amazing diving catch. He made it look so easy that it's easy for the viewer to go, it's a nice catch. Okay. He should make that catch. No. That is really hard to do. Let's see.
He's got a big glove and everything.
Aspiring director here, Federico says, should I focus on screenplays I could bargain to direct in the future? Or is it a good strategy to write big budget films with commercial potential, assuming they're good? Spielberg once said that the writer-directors have an advantage since they can get people interested in the script and negotiate the chances. Okay, so kind of going back to the idea of write what you love, direct what you love. The idea of an auteur is someone who believes so much in their vision that they're going to go present that vision, regardless of what studios think or what audiences think or what the market thinks. So I think you are at an advantage because you can create your own career. You can write a short and then go shoot it. I think that's probably the best place to start. If you write a feature that's really popular or it goes around town and everybody loves it, the chances of you directing it are pretty low because that studio, whoever takes on a producer, is going to try to find a director who can then draw the cast. Meaning, let's find this director because I know that director has connections to these cast people, to be politically correct. And that all equals money. So as a brand new director, the negative is you don't have a money draw. You don't have a box office draw.
But a passion project, so your big budget passion project, of course write it or get the bones ready or think about it one day. But in the meantime, start work. And if you're starting work on something that is much less of a fancy idea, then just begin. But you have to begin. Or start, building the blocks of your massive fantasy, but know that without source material, it's going to be hard, But I think that what else are you going to do? If you're an artist, you create. That's all you can do. So know that, enjoy the process, and remember to actually do it every now and again rather than just talk about it.
Yeah. It's funny, Wesley asks an interesting question I don't think we've ever had. Read any scripts that do not use the F word lately? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm rewriting one now. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm writing a first draft by hand. I'm saving up for final draft for second draft. Good for you, Cindy. Keep going.
Absolutely. And you know what? I think writing it by hand probably allows you to think about the story more rather than kind of just banging it out there. Even the process of writing is much more kind of like intuitive.
Pete says McDonald's has sold billions of burgers. It doesn't mean you should cook like that. Very good point.
Or eat their food, quite frankly.
Yeah.
We've nearly drunk this bottle of wine. It shows you it's really good, Drew. Thank you so
really
much
good,
for
and
the
it does
Biogna.
not. There you go, Pete. Cody Bellinger. That's what it was. I am not a Dodgers fan. I cannot stand the Dodgers. I'm pulling for the Brewers. I'm from Wisconsin, but I'm a Cubs fan. All right, Leanne, we're caught up with comments. So tips for a first-time. Tips for a first-time Austin Film Fest goer and first-time Page finalist. Congratulations.
Oh, well
I can
done.
only make the first 2 days. Oh, so we don't know the festival all that well, right? It's not like
I'm kind of I'm winging it with you. I mean, I'll look at everything. I think anything you can do where there's a panel of someone that you really admire and talk to, a pitch session, anything interactive where you actually have to, if there's a round table event where you have to kind of sit around the table and talk about your screenplay with other writers. Any of those stuff that mean that you are forced into talking to someone. I'm looking up there on that. Then that is, although it would be terrifying, do that. Yeah. Because don't just go for the passive. I'm just going to let someone talk and I'm going to sit at the back and not do it. Go for all everything that you read that scares you to death. Do that, because honestly, that's
easier said than done.
But that's the place where you'll find everyone. Because also the people that are scaring themselves to death with you will be so pleased you're there to hold their hand and you can kind of do it together.
Yeah.
And you have got something behind you. That's the other reason why we love bringing our table read winners to the film festivals is going as a winner. Everyone goes, why are you here? How are you here? And you're like, well, I'm a winner. I came as a winner of the table read my screenplay. I came as a winner of the Page Film Festival, Page screenwriting contest. I'm a winner. My screenplays have done well. I deserve to be here. And that's not to show off, but it's just to say, it's to give you the confidence to say, yeah, well, I was lucky enough to be selected. I'm so happy and proud.
I was a Page finalist, and so I came and I wanted to try to meet other people who
doing the stuff. Why are you here? My passion is, what I love about festivals is, what are you hoping to get out of it? Do you, have you been before? Just to really work the room. But everything that scares you is the thing that's excitement or fear.
So
it's a very fine line.
We have time. I'm going to do one more question here, and then we're going to.
This is my snake, a fine line, everyone.
Really quick trivia.
Remember the fine line.
So Helene is asking, either Helene or Helena. I apologize.
Helena.
Do you recommend ISA development slate if I know I'd likely not get in with the script? It's a good question, but I really want your feedback. So absolutely.
For 5 pages of notes.
5 pages of development notes. So they're development notes, and they're not just here's what we think is wrong with the script. It's here's what we connected with, here's what we didn't connect with, here's how I think you can try to improve that. So they're going to give you suggestions, which is helpful. And for $199, it's inexpensive. If you're looking for long-term support and not just the one-time $199, as an example, for $349, you get weekly coaching with me personally for 12 months. So literally every week for 52 weeks minus some holidays. So if you're able to spend that money on a monthly basis, then suddenly you've got those types of notes every single week in a developmental basis, and you're producing product every 3 months. So you're finishing something every 3 months, 4 months if your schedule's a little locked. So, and that's not just me either. There are so many consultants out there. So if you have money to spend, the 5 pages of notes is nice, but when I'm giving notes to my writers, I'm talking to them. I'm not just emailing these notes. It's a weekly call, and I'm going through the notes, and we're talking through them. The writer's able to give their feedback.
I think it's being able to be spitballed with somebody that actually isn't bored. It's not your partner going, oh my God, stop talking to me about it.
Yeah, we're trying to solve the problems.
It's all about solving problems, then telling a better story, a more interesting story. And allowing someone else to stand back from your story and say, well done, you're doing a really great job here, You might not even realise how good certain bits of it are, and there are just things to tweak and work on, and have you thought about? I mean, it's really about inspiring each other. We're all in this together, like we say, trying to make a better world, I hope, in this crazy one we live in right now.
Yeah.
Drew, I'm loving the wine. I love a Viognier.
Aaron Schwiebert, thank you
Aaron.
for joining, my brother-in-law. All right, so let's get into trivia. Otherwise, we're going to be sitting here all night, and I apologize for some of the questions that we have not gotten to.
But if you do send them, then we can maybe do them on Halloween night.
Yeah, we're going to be back in 2 weeks on Halloween night, maybe with costumes.
Definitely, I'm coming with no teeth. I think you. I think you should maybe we can answer a couple of them even via email. I know it's a bit of a crazy week. I'm so slammed right now.
It's a little ridiculous with emails in terms of trying to get to them, and I know that it would take me some time.
Yeah.
If you do have questions, you can, especially if you're curious about consulting, you can email me max@thestoryfarm.org. That's the name of my little consulting company. You can email felicity@networkisa.org if you have questions for her.
Felicity@networkisa.org, but just send me nice things. Tell me how nice my hair's looking. You can ask me questions.
All right, so this is what we're going to do. We are going to ask 5 trivia questions. Oh my, that could take, but we kind of have to. 5 trivia questions. Whoever has the most correct after the 5 wins a prize.
Is there only one prize?
Maybe. And I'm keeping it as a surprise.
Okay, a prize or a surprise. Sorry, Bella's in the hole.
All right, so what do we got for questions?
I have like a few different kind of like ones. So it's film questions.
Yeah.
Rather than I did look for festival ones, but they were really hard.
Oh, come on! That's a great question.
It's
a good one to start with.
But like there's some great little questions here. It's just like, so, we just need to choose them.
If somebody knows that question, I'm just going to end it. and say, here you go.
Okay,
You
well, that
get
can be
all
number
of the-
5.
Okay.
Okay, so number 1, you're going to use that one.
Yeah. Okay. So where? This is question number 1. You got to be pretty.
Question
You got to be pretty quick with the typing. Okay. So the first comment that
With
we
the
see
Google.
come up, the first comment that we see come up with the correct answer is like 1 up. You get a point. All right. So where did Princess Leia hide the stolen plans for the Death Star? Where did she hide? Emphasis on where did Princess Leia hide the stolen plans for the Death Star?
And it wasn't in her donut ear hair.
So there is a technical multiple choice here. I'm not going to give them because I think you should probably already know. R2, oops, so wait a minute. I think we're going to give it to Greg because I think we all kind of at this point go by
R2.
that reference.
Yeah.
It's R2, yeah.
R2.
Technically, Flavio, you said R2D2. It is correct, but Greg, there you go. You get that.
Super quick fingers
Greg's
from
got
Greg.
question number 1, so Greg's up 1 point. What do we got? Oh, see, that's not really a question. That's a little weird.
That
wait,
one's a bit easy.
Is it? I don't know if that's that easy.
What about this one?
Okay. Okay. So, all right.
This is a multiple choice. Yeah.
It's pretty easy. All right. So here we go. This is a multiple choice. I'm going to give 4 options. Which of the following movies was not
Underline not.
set during World War II? Which of the following 4 movies was not set during World War II? Midway, Casablanca, Apocalypse Now, Patton.
Not set during
Who
World
is the
War
fastest typer?
II. Midway, Casablanca, Apocalypse Now, or Patton. Dunka dunka dunk dunka dunka dunk.
Which one was not set during World War II? Oh, we got a new comment. Apocalypse. Okay, I'm sorry, Greg. I got to give it to Tommy this time. He did say Apocalypse Now. So we got to go with Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, you can't just do shortened versions, Greg.
Yeah, this is not the texting version of everything. Sorry, Greg. So Tommy and Greg are tied at 1. We got 3 questions left. Right? That was Apocalypse Now. That was pretty easy. All right, Cindy, I apologize that you can't hear. Mary said MASH. That wasn't one of the options. What else we got?
How about this one?
All right, go ahead and read it.
What does E.T. tell Elliot when he leaves Earth?
When he leaves Earth, what does E.T. tell Elliot? When he leaves.
Leaves Earth.
End
So
of the
there's-
movie. Think of the physical
That he
action
leaves.
that he's doing.
And he goes, does he say, Elliot, E.T. phone home?
No, don't. I think.
Or does he say, Elliot, me like Reese's Pieces?
Talk about a dumb way to end the movie. Oh, wait, we've got the right answer. Greg Beck, I'll be right here.
Greg, exactly right.
Julian, you were close. I will always be. That's close. That's very cute.
Oh.
But Greg is up 2-1.
Don't we like me like Reese's Pieces?
You like Reese's Pieces. I'll be back, Muggs says. You might have been serious. Sorry, Muggs. I don't mean to laugh at your question.
I'll be back. Isn't that Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Had E.T. said Apocalypse Now set in Vietnam, that'd been really screwed up.
Elliot, Apocalypse Now, set in Vietnam.
Now we know why E.T.'s here. All right, so wait a minute. Who got that right? It was
Greg.
Oh, so Greg's up 2-1. All right.
So Greg's
up 2-1.
doing well. He's only going to get one more. Let's do this one then. The hard one.
This is ridiculous. Maybe I think it's ridiculous and nobody else does. All right, so
We won't give them the names. So
I'm not going to give you the names. That's what's really hard. All right, so who was Scarlett O'Hara's second husband?
Second husband.
What was the name of Scarlett O'Hara's second husband? Deborah said, "I'll be back. Save the candy."
I'll be back. Ooh, that hurts.
So Greg, it was not Rhett, and you got to give us. This is first and last name.
Yeah.
So second husband. If somebody gets this,
Second husband.
So I'm going to say, Amy, you were very close.
One of those words is right.
Very close. Oh, wait a minute. So there's a combination in the comments that if we saw them, we might be able to give someone the correct
do better.
answer.
Do the Googles.
Oh, Muggs, put it into one comment, God.
No, she did it. She
All right,
got it.
Muggs got it. All right,
Muggs
we'll give
got
it to
it.
Muggs. Frank Kennedy. I cannot believe you know
Frank
that.
Kennedy.
Frank Kennedy.
And
John
normally,
Gingrich got it right too.
normally you have slow internet, so I'm very impressed. Look at this is my fist. This is my fist typing.
All right, so we got Greg
On 2.
Greg's on 2, and there are 3 others with 1, right? Muggs.
No, just Muggs and one other person.
Oh, that's right. Muggs and uh-oh. Oh, no.
Courtney will know.
Remind us who had the other question. Oh, Tommy. Tommy had,
yeah.
had 1. All right, so we got Greg there you go. So Greg at 2, Muggs at 1, Tommy at 1. This is the last question, so if either Tommy or Muggs gets it correct, they're tied with Greg. If anybody else gets it correct, Greg wins.
Yes, okay, so I'm going to do an impression.
Oh, no. All right, listen, here we go. This ought to be good in an English accent.
Fredo, you're my older brother, and I love you. I don't ever take sides with anyone again. Against the family. Again. Ever. I'll do it in my normal voice.
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Basically, the answer is not quite for EJ.
Oh, Fredo.
Dango got it. The Godfather. So...
Is everyone really impressed?
All right, so this is what we're going to do. Greg gets a table read my screenplay entry for free, but among Dango, Tommy, and Muggs, only those 3 are able to answer now. Whoever gets the next question correct gets also a table read my screenplay Park City entry.
Okay. Come
All right,
and play
so
with me in the Sundance.
Dango, Tommy, and Muggs are the only ones who are able to answer.
Are you ready?
Let's see what we got.
And this is a quote. And it's from...
What movie is this quote from?
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
Love means never having to say
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
However dramatically you want to say it, with inflection of
Love means never having to say you're
sorry.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
What is that quote from? Movie. First to answer, Tommy or Muggs or Dango. Love Story.
Woo!
All right, Dango. I wonder, let's see if, no, I don't have any. I hate that movie. All right, so Dango, you also receive a table read my screenplay Park City entry. So what you're going to do, you're going to email social, SOCIAL, at networkisa.org to request and Greg, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to ask for a code for a free entry to table read my screenplay Park City because I won the trivia contest on Wine Wednesday.
I think Courtney's been watching anyway, so she'll
Courtney
know.
probably knows anyway. But yeah.
And once he says, I think the timing was off.
The timing was off? What?
But I think it was put stuff in his mouth to get the... Oh, yeah, okay. That was just me doing a bad impression. Honestly, I am not... I want everyone to know that I am not Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
We do not own the rights to Madonna's song at the beginning.
So Greg Beck
Marlon Brando.
and Dango, you can email right there. You can see in the comments, social@networkisa.org, and you can request.
But well done, everyone. Thank you for playing trivia.
Everybody. We're going to finish drinking our wine.
Yes, thank you, Drew. You're amazing. We'll see you. A shame you're not here on Thursday. We'll look forward to drinking more wine on Thursday at the Nickelodeon event.
If you came in late,
Thursday.
this is going to be up shortly, but you can see any recent or past Wine Wednesday broadcast on the ISA Facebook page. If you want to listen to just the audio, it will also be uploaded to the ISA podcast page, which you should be looking at all the time because we're posting new podcasts on a regular basis.
And not just about Wine Wednesday, all sorts of stuff.
They're all free. All right, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in as always.
You honestly make it so much fun. We have so much fun with you. We really appreciate it.
We're going to be back on Halloween, so if you want to celebrate Halloween with us, we'll be here probably in costume.
Yeah, and I do want you to all be in costume too and send photos. I think that's only fair.
That's a good idea. You can post some selfies to the comments. All right, everybody. We will see you in 2 weeks. Have a good night.